friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I share real-life budgeting strategies for our family of 5 using zero-based budgeting and cash envelopes. So today we're budgeting my husband's second paycheck for the month of May, and let's just say we're being very intentional with this paycheck. So let's just dive right in. Okay, so my husband's paycheck came out to $2,731, and that's after taxes and pre-tax contributions like his 401k. We get paid twice a month, so typically we get 4 paychecks each month. And it just so happens that our checks alternate each week. Let's start with our fixed expenses. We round up all of our bills just to make things simpler. So we have our solar, which is $199, Kindle Unlimited for $12, Google Photos for $2, Spectrum, which is not cable, it's only our internet. We have a really high speed plan. So that's $115. The gas company, which I'm estimating to be around $73. I get those alerts that say what my projected bill is going to be, so I just kind of use that as my guideline. And I'm sorry if you hear our birds, our parakeets in the background, because they are like having fun, I guess. I don't know, sounds like screaming, but they're loud. So if you hear it, I apologize. And then we're going to go ahead and throw $395 as an automatic transfer to our home emergency high yield savings account. So that totals $796, leaving us with $1,935 to work with. So we're going to move right along to our variable spending. We transfer $525 to our separate checking account for our groceries and our gasoline. So groceries gets $325 and gasoline gets $200. We are a family of 5 living in California, and with inflation and our shift to more organic, whole foods, less processed, we've definitely had to increase our food budget over the years. Then we're setting aside $175 for personal spending money, because even in a tight budget, a little flexibility helps to avoid burnout. So that brings our total for our variable expenses to $700, leaving us with $1,235. Now let's dive into my sinking funds, which are basically a way we save in advance for expected expenses. I use the cash envelope method because it has a psychological benefit. Like, it keeps me connected to my spending and also helps to avoid unnecessary spending. So it's tangible and it helps me stay committed to our financial goals. So let's see. So both water and trash, these are not billed monthly. One is every other month, one is quarterly. So I just pop $20 into the sinking fund in cash every paycheck, so that way when the bill generates, I'm completely prepared. Vehicle maintenance is going to go ahead and get $200, and I just got a quote for brakes, spark plugs, and an oil change, and let's just say this fund is about to be drained. But hey, it's a blessing that I actually have a car that can be maintained, that I have to maintain. I'm trying to shift my mindset, so I see this as a privilege. So I may have to rebuild this, but that's okay, because I have a vehicle that I have the privilege of caring for. So moving right along to vehicle registration. So I'm adding $60. Sorry, now my dogs are barking. The chaos of our household. So as I was saying, vehicle registration. So I am super pumped about this actually, because I guess vehicle registration over the years does decrease, but the way that things have been happening lately, I don't know why I wasn't expecting like a decrease. So we had already paid the Can-Am back in February, and both the TRD and the Outlander are due in July. So mine was $327 last year, and now it is $301. And then his was like, let me see if I can find the number again. Okay, so his last year was $540, and this year it's only $447, nearly $100 difference. So I hopped into my high priority binder, which is where I keep my vehicle registration. And we already have $500 in a high yield savings account, right? And let's see, what is the math? 301 plus 447. I think that's what I said. So $748. So I have 500, 600, 750. That is already going to cover the registration. And then I have $60. So I'm already saving for July 2026. Yeah, 2026. And I'm going to be putting $60 this paycheck. So I'm like going to be ahead of the game. I'm basically going to have more than 12 months to save for this, which to me, just, sooner the better, right? To feel like fully prepared. So I'm going to wind up having to do a cash condensing, but also unstuffing because I'm going to pay that. So roadside assistance, that is going to get $30. That actually increased, but not by much. So I'm just adding $30 to cover that difference. And then Allstate insurance, which is for our Can-Am, I'm going ahead and putting $30. Car insurance, which is going to be to help my daughter with car insurance, that's going to be $100. Her renewal offer jumped to nearly $6,000 for the year. So I'm definitely shopping around for a better offer. It was cheaper her first year of driving at the age of 16. She's now 17, has been driving for a full year. They told me that it would go down each year, but they did not speak truth. That was an untruth. So I went ahead and contacted my current carrier to see what it would cost to add her. When we first got insurance, it was actually more expensive to add her to our policy than to get her own policy through AAA. This year, from what I'm seeing the quote, it is cheaper to add her to our policy than it was to keep her AAA policy. So that's the route we're going to go, and it's significantly different. It's like a little over $3,000. I think $3,500 for the year compared to $6,000. So here's your PSA for the day. Shop around. Do not accept just the first quote that you get because I'm confident that you can find better. And also let them know your entire situation. Like for us, I told them I'm ex-military. We have multiple policies with you, including our homeowners insurance, our earthquake policy. Does that count for anything? I work for a government agency. My daughter has excellent grades, like her GPA is really high. So yeah, they were able to apply different discounts and stuff. So PSA for the day. Shop around. Don't accept just the first offer you get. So moving along to our home expenses. For home maintenance, we're going to go ahead and add $200. Earthquake policy, we're going to add $50. When I was speaking to my carrier, I actually asked if they had any idea what my earthquake policy would be for this year, but it's not due until August, which means I'm not going to get it till July, and they can't see any number. I'm assuming that's going to increase. In fact, I'm a little nervous that it's going to significantly increase only because, and it may be completely unrelated, but maybe not, the California wildfires that we just had and how insurance companies are leaving California, that entire chaos that's been happening and how they're increasing the rates and stuff. So I'm just assuming that might happen here. So I'm trying to plan ahead, and I'm saving more than what it was last year. But I'm prepared that if it jumps a couple $100 even more, that I'll have to cover that in that month. I mean, I could just continue to save. I have, May, June, and July to save for it. And if it's not due until mid-August, technically I could even use some of our August income to cover it. So I'm just anticipating at this point that it's going to increase. So home warranty, this is American Home Shield. And I don't know if this is, I want to say it's nationwide, but basically, it covers our large appliances, even our electronics. We added an electronics package to it, which would cover our laptops, cell phones, iPads, things like that. So I think that's worth it just because if something does break, they help you cover it with just a $150 deductible. So pest control, that's going to go ahead and get $40. We live in a very rural area. I really hate saying that word, by the way, rural. It just doesn't flow nicely off my tongue. But we get all the things, vinegaroons and scorpions and snakes and black widows and what they call water bugs. I guess they're not cockroaches, but they sure as look like them. So we definitely use a pest control company. My daughter actually got stung by a scorpion, but luckily where we are, they are not poisonous. No, venomous. One of those. And when she got bit, because she put her foot in her shoe and it happened to be in her shoe, she'll never do that again without checking the inside of the shoe. But the fire department came and, they just checked it out. It wasn't swelling. They put some ice on it and she was good to go. But yeah, that was the year that I said, let's reinstate our pest control. And we did immediately. So for septic, we're going to go ahead and add $20 because we are on a septic system. So we do have to have that pumped every anywhere from 2 to 4 years. It just depends on the level. My husband opens it and checks it to make sure that we're never going to overflow, because that would just be PU, nasty. So yard maintenance is going to go ahead and get $100. Garden is going to go ahead and get $50. And then deductibles, I'm going to throw $200. I normally do $50 a month, but I really want to get this to at least one of our deductibles. So for vehicle, it's like a $500 deductible. And for, like I said, American Home Shield, our home warranty, that's a $150 deductible. And, we would have our earthquake policy, our homeowner's insurance. I mean, there's so many deductibles that we would have to pay if something happened. And although I could pull that from one of our emergency funds, I decided I wanted to have its own category. So that's what we're doing. And then for home improvement, we're going to go ahead and pop $50 into that envelope, giving a total of $1,200 for our sinking funds. And that leaves us with $35 left over for our 52-week and our bookmark savings challenge. And you guys, I did not forget it. It is on my cash breakdown. It is here. I did not forget. And I pulled the cash for it. So our total for the money that we're going to pull cash to cash stuff is $1,380. So when I'm tracking my spending, basically that amount that's coming out of the account in cash, I will highlight it as savings deposit. I'm making a deposit into my savings. So yes, in the form of cash envelopes, but again, you saw my placeholder. We do utilize a high yield savings account because we obviously want to earn that interest, but it's still like a physical, tangible, visual thing for me to see how we're saving. So I prefer the cash envelope method for my sinking funds. You can definitely do it cashless. When I do have my money in my high yield savings account, I use Ally and it has this wonderful bucket system. I'll post some pictures just so that you can see what I mean. I can separate the money. I know exactly what it is for, and it's to me, visually enticing. The site itself is very user-friendly and visually really, it just kind of pops. I don't know, the colors and the little icons you can choose for the buckets. So to me, it makes it fun. Being able to put it in the bucket, you can set a goal on your bucket. So the goal amount, the goal date, they'll send you emails way to go, you're halfway there, or, you met your goal. So I don't know, it's almost just as motivational for me as it is saving the physical cash. We use a zero-based budget. So basically giving every dollar a purpose. It does not mean that we're living paycheck to paycheck. It just means that we're being intentional. That has been my word for this year. Intention. Whether it's spending, saving, or resting, I want it all to be purposeful. I want it to meet our short-term, long-term goals, not just for our finances, but also just for our family and peace of mind. Why not? So that's it for this week's budget. I will be filming a separate video for the cash stuffing. Since combining both videos, it seems that it has lowered my engagement. I mean, we're always learning, right? So let me know what you want to see next, more budgeting breakdowns, savings challenge updates, maybe a deep dive into how we use our high yield savings account. I know I briefly discussed it, but more of a deep dive, right? If you found this video helpful, give it a like, drop a comment, don't forget to subscribe, and definitely don't forget to breathe.